talking about you called it burnt ass chicken, and you used to turn it in on the regular and win on the regular when you turn that in. When I say turn it in, I'm talking competition barbecue.
Yeah.
What's that recipe?
Man, the old school recipe, what I would do, I would buy
thighs.
whatever store I was at, store brand zesty Italian. If it was Kroger, it was Kroger. If it was Walmart, it's like best great value or whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. As long as you're buying the generic zesty Italian dressing.
What is special about the generic?
It's cheap. Cheaper than the Kraft. Why spend money on Wishbone or Kraft or Newman's or one of those when what are you doing throwing some raw chicken in it? So I can't tell the difference. That's been my method. This was like a cheap entry for me.
Yeah.
And I would buy a frozen bag of the boneless, skinless thighs, not the fresh ones. I never did as good with the fresh ones at the store.
Really?
I don't know why. They treat that chicken too nice. I needed some that had been rough for life chicken, to burn it up.
Okay.
This could be called hood chicken. It's just grilling chicken, burning chicken thighs. And so I'd buy the frozen bag. Usually I would this would be the night before. Like if I was going to a contest and the ancillary, this wasn't like for main KCBS chicken. This is
always ancillary.
I would night before, like on Thursday night, they don't do meat inspection on ancillary, so you can get away with this. I would dump all that frozen chicken in a giant Ziploc bag, and I'd put like 2 bottles of that Italian dressing off in there. And then usually I would add a little bit of Worcestershire, a little bit of hot sauce, a little bit of rub, just to give it some color. And then let that sit in the refrigerator or in a cooler on ice for 24 hours pretty much, just soaking in it. Then I would take all that chicken out, throw me out some paper towels like in some large pans or on a rack, and then take that chicken out of that marinade and let the excess drip off, and then kind of pat it dry, get it patted off, and just season it. And back then I would just use the barbecue rub. I didn't even have AP bottled back then. I mean, we probably had some in a shaker like.
Oh, this is before you had anybody.
Yeah, this is really before. I don't even know if I had the barbecue rub. We were just making it and bringing it. But I would hit it with that, and I'd let it air dry a little bit while the grill came up to temp. And most of the time, I was cooking this on one of these little Aussie walkabouts. You seen them outside grocery stores. It's the little square-looking grill that folds up on itself. It's got the little bitty basket on the bottom.
It's a poor man's Weber.
It is. It's poorer than a poor man's Weber. It's a grill that if you have to run and leave it, you don't really care. Once you get your bag of charcoal, your 10 pounds of charcoal in it, you get your use out of it. Yeah, I paid $19.99 for that grill. I won more money with that grill. I won a lot of chicken money with that, a lot of chicken checks with the little grill like that. But it would do 1 chimney of charcoal spread out, had a little cooking grate on it. I would kind of keep it 2-zone because I knew it was going to be hot and I was going to need to move the chicken around. And I'd work in batches. I'd throw those thighs on there and do it the exact same way. On the hot side, about 2 minutes, flip them over, get some color on them, about 2 minutes, and then I'd kind of move them over to the cool side, let them kind of finish. And I'd start the next batch and just rotate them in and out until I got them to about 160 internal is where I was taking these. Then I'd take them up in a pan. And in that pan, back then, I used, no joke, Corky's barbecue sauce. I would buy it in a gallon. I would buy it in a gallon jug, and I would pour it in a pan, a half sheet pan, and I would take that chicken that I just got off the grill and dunk each piece in it, throw it right back over the hot coals, and it would start bubbling and charring and got all this great flavor on it. And I'd move it over to the cool side, and then I'd take them to there about 175, 180 degrees. I really didn't care at that point. I just wanted it done. Minimum 175. And once I got all those chicken pieces done, I'd start picking out the ones that were kind of uniform shape. Because, these boneless, skinless thighs, there's no shape to them. It's just kind of whatever it is after they cut the bone out. And I would take scissors, and I'd kind of shape them up to where they all were close to uniform as I could get them. If anything was hanging off, one side had a little piece of meat, I'd cut all that off to where I had kind of that center cut thigh. I don't know what you want to call it. It's the big muscle on the thigh, boneless, skinless. And then I would touch up the sides with sauce, and we would take a bell pepper. I wouldn't turn it in with Corky sauce. I'd usually turn it in with the sauce we made it for a contest. But I'd take a bell pepper, open it up, cut some little teeth-looking things, little jagged edge where it's kind of dressed up a little bit, set that in like the back center of the box, and then we would stand these little thigh cutlets up that were all charred up and sticky and sweet and had all this goodness on them. We just kind of fan them around like dominoes in that box. And, of course, it had some garnish in it, It was usually like a parsley bed, something like that. And the judges would absolutely go crazy over it. They were, I mean, they didn't believe it was thighs. I don't know what they thought it was. It was tender, juicy, charred up chicken.
Yeah.
And we just started calling it burnt ass chicken. Because that's what it looked like.
There was one time you really burned it and turned it in.
And won. It was that good. You could just
you were cooking it on some huge grill while everybody else was cooking their ancillaries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that day. Yeah, it was.
I remember you were like, well.
Somebody said, "You want to try it?" It says, "It's burnt." I was like, "Yeah, well, we're going to turn it in. That's all we got."
Did you pick out the most non-burnt ones to turn in?
Of course.
Maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I might have scraped some of it off. By the time you get scraped off and dip back in sauce and set the glaze again, it's good to go. But you can't beat. I mean, boneless, skinless thighs are underrated, man. I think it's much better than boneless, skinless breast.
Especially
I don't know if it's as good. I don't know if it's as good for you, but is there a difference in the nutrition?
We talked about that one time, yeah.
I don't know
I forgot what we talked about.
The breast is probably the best part, but the thighs taste so much better.